Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another Toromont Cat podcast. I'm Brian Davis, the Construction Solutions Manager here at Toromont, and today we're just going to spend a few minutes talking about some fuel-saving tips. Somebody says fuel. What do you think? Well, you know what? Fuel, believe it or not, makes up about 35% of a machine's operating costs. So if you don't think it's a big deal, maybe you should think again. So let's talk about what we can do to save fuel. So one of the great things with new technology, going from the older engines to the new Tier 4 engines, we've got a lot better fuel economy these days. We're able to get a lot more power out of these engines and let them do what they need to do, and that's build power, because the emissions are done outside the engine now. So it's a good thing. One of the greatest ways to one of the easiest ways to reduce your fuel and save fuel is using eco mode. However, it's probably one of the hardest things to get an operator and some owners to even adopt. But you know what? You should seriously think about eco mode, guys, because not every application requires full throttle operation. With proportionate flow, load sensing hydraulics, you get the power and implement controls that you need no matter what your engine speed. You don't need to be full throttle anymore. It's not the old style equipment we're used to running.
You mean black smoke don't mean power no more?
That's right. That's one of the biggest comments we get, Jim. That's a great point. You put a brand new machine under a guy and he says, there's no power in this thing. There's no smoke coming out of it.
Or I can't hear it.
I can't hear it. Yeah. Guess what, guys? It's a new world. It's not like that anymore. So a great example of eco mode, using eco mode, is when you're doing finish grading with a bulldozer. The blade is very rarely full of material. All you're doing is tickling the ground. Eco mode's going to work awesome and going to save you probably 20% on your fuel bill. Excavators, there's lots of times when you don't need full production, high power mode. You can use eco. If you don't need maximum dig depth or maximum reach, you can use eco mode. If you don't have that machine fully trucked where it's just blowing and going, loading trucks all day long, use eco mode. Save fuel. If you're backfilling trenches or fine grading, doing light clearing and grubbing, all kinds of applications, utility work, tons of applications for eco mode. Now, Jim, I'm not a wheel loader expert. Never claimed to be. You're the wheel loader guy, but I know wheel loaders have eco modes on them. When should we use it?
All the time. Really, Brian, there's only one situation where you wouldn't use eco mode on a wheel loader, and that's going to be with a load and carry with an uphill grade. Other than that, truck loading, load and carry, charging a hopper, it does not reduce the power when you're digging when you need it. It gives you the power there, and it kind of takes it off the edge. It's just the same technology they use on the excavators, as you mentioned, the track type tractors and the wheel loaders.
And you just hit a key point there, Jim. It does not reduce the power.
Absolutely.
The power is there, whether you're in eco mode or high power mode. Power is the same. Guys, use that eco mode. What are some of the other things that we can do? Well, auto engine idle. We've had this on excavators for forever, long time. Basically just drops the engine RPM down to idle when the machine stops working. It's pretty simple math. If your engine is spinning at lower RPM, you're burning less fuel. Use it. It's a great function. When you're waiting for that truck to back in, idle the machine. How about auto engine shutdown? Here's a great feature which stops the engine after a predetermined amount of time. If you're in a truck loading application in a sand and gravel pit with a loader and you get through the first morning rush and now you're waiting on trucks and you're just sitting there and you know you're going to be 5-10 minutes before the next truck, why are you running the machine? Let the machine shut itself off. Save some fuel. These are good features, guys, things to use. So what about limiting idle time? Idle time is another way to lower your fuel consumption. And you know, some customers look at idle time and go, yeah, whatever. It's not a real big deal. But we're going to spend just a couple quick minutes here walking you through an example to illustrate what the impact could be on your business. So the experts tell us, and this is not the Caterpillar experts, this is the experts in the industry that measure this stuff all over the place. It's not unusual for idle time to represent 40 to 50% of a machine's runtime. I know that sounds astronomical, but that's what they tell us. This is an aggregate, guys. This is all machines. So let's just say, for fun here, that a machine burns about 4 liters an hour at idle, okay? That would be about a gallon. At 1,500 hours a year and a 40% idle time, that's about 600 hours or 2,400 liters of fuel a year at idle. So let's say, pick a price for fuel, Jim.
80 cents, Brad.
80 cents a liter. Perfect. So 2,400 liters of fuel, 80 cents a liter. That's $1,920 wasted out the stack every year.
$2,000 a year per machine.
Per machine. So let's take that over a 5-year term. That's $9,600. That's assuming fuel prices hold. at 80 cents. I don't think in 5 years fuel will be 80 cents.
I don't know what it's going to be in 5
Who
years.
knows? Exactly. But hey, guys, what happens if you got a fleet of 20 machines? Heck, 40, 50, 60 machines, but let's say 20 machines. That's $192,000 over 5 years. So idle time is real money. So if you take some steps to decrease your idle time of that fleet and drop it down to, say, 20% from 40%, that's $96,000 to the bottom line of your company in 5 years. That is real money.
Hey, Brian, what are some other costs associated with idle hours?
Great question, Tom. What about the other costs? How about unnecessary fluid and filter changes? We're talking idling hours. Hours are hours. If the clock says 500 hours, you don't know if 100 of those hours have been idle time, you're going to change the oil. So it's unnecessary fluid and filter changes, shorter component life. You're not going to get all the productive hours you should out of that machine. How about wasted warranty hours? If your machine comes with 5,000 hours of warranty and you idle away 2,000 hours of that, that's a lot of waste of time and money.
Good point.
Not to mention increased emissions. We all want to be environmentally friendly, right? Basically, guys, excessive idling is going to pour buckets of cash down the drain. Anything you can do to minimize it, it's going to help you. So some tips for reducing idle time. Limit your idle time at shutdown. Most machines need 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. Turn off your trucks while you're waiting for more than 5 minutes to load or unload. Restrict your morning warm-ups from 3 to 5 minutes. These machines don't need to warm up for half an hour in the morning just because it's cool outside. Turn it off at lunch, during coffee break, or in other periods where you're not in use. And we talked about it, but use the automatic shutdown feature when it's available. That's a great feature to use. You know, another way to lower fuel burn, operator training. Guys, ensuring your operators are running these machines according to the recommendations that manufacturers put in place and trained how to use the features we've talked about. It's just a great way to reduce your fuel consumption. And finally, proper maintenance can also help you with fuel economy. You know, in other podcasts, we've talked about ensuring your tires are inflated properly. Jim harps about this all the time. Think about it. Soft tires increase rolling resistance. What does increased rolling resistance do? Burns more fuel. So proper maintenance. Ground engaging tools, cutting edges, and teeth on buckets. They lose their effectiveness long before they wear out. A sharp bucket is going to be able to penetrate material way more easily, which will allow the machine to load the bucket quicker and easier. It's going to burn less fuel. So remember, guys, fuel makes up about 35% of a machine's operating costs. Anything you can do to burn less will make your bottom line much healthier.